Hi, this is Chris, and we are taking a look at question 4 here in Module 1 of the Digital SAT Math section. It says in triangle ABC, the measure of angle B is 52, and the measure of angle C is 17, and they want to know the measure of angle A. You could try to draw this out, but you really don't have to. Hopefully we know that the sum of all the angles of a triangle adds up to 180, and so it doesn't really matter where these angles are or what it looks like visually, and that on test day could be a waste of time to try to think of it visually as opposed to just looking at this numerically. We're going to do 52 and 17, which adds up to 69, and then we're going to do 180 minus 69, and that comes out to be 111, which is answer choice D here. So again, with triangles, if they give you two angles and they're looking for the third, then you're going to take the sum of those two angles, subtract it from 180, and there's your answer. Now let's move on to question 5. And for 5, it says the graph represents the total charge in dollars by an electrician for X hours of work. The electrician charges a one-time fee plus an hourly rate. What is the best interpretation of the slope of the graph? This is very common in SAT. They really want to make sure that we understand slope-intercept form. And this idea that the hourly rate here would be something indicative of slope, because that's an increase per unit of time. But this one-time fee, and you'll see this asked in different ways. Here it's a one-time fee. Sometimes they'll talk about an initial amount or a starting value. That's what we would see here with our y-intercept. So understanding how to differentiate in the text of a word problem which part is slope and which part is y-intercept is really important. And here, if we have that understanding, then when they say slope, we know that the slope here is referring to this hourly rate. That's the amount that we're going to pay per the X hours of work that the electrician does, and that's going to give us answer choice A. Up next, we're going to take a look at question 6, and this is a student-produced response, so there are no options to select from as far as multiple choice goes. We just have to come up with the number on our own. And let's take a look at the info in the table. It says the table summarizes the distribution of color and shape for 100 tiles of equal area. If one of these tiles is selected at random, what's the probability of selecting a red tile? So this is going to be out of our total, and they even add it up for us. Sometimes you might have to do that calculation on your own about the square and pentagon tiles, but here they give us these totals. So that's red out of our total, and for probability that would be 30 over 100, and as a good rule of thumb with probability, you should get in a habit of reducing, and that's going to reduce to 3/10. You can eliminate a 0 for each, and that would be 3/10 or 0.3. All right, let's check out question 7. So here, back to multiple choice. It says from a population of 50,000 people, 1,000 were chosen at random and surveyed about a proposed piece of legislation. Based on the survey, it is estimated that 35% of people in the population support the legislation, with an associated margin of error of 3%. So basically that's going to be anywhere from 32 to 38%. When they say margin of error, that means plus or minus 3%. So from that 35% value that they're estimating, it could be 3% higher, 3% lower, or anywhere in between. All right, based on these results, which of the following is a plausible value for the total number of people in the population who support the proposed legislation? So remember, from the population, we're talking about this number here, out of the 50,000 people. And we need to figure out what those percentages are out of 50,000. So if you do 50,000 times 0.32, that would be 16,000 people. And if you do the higher percentage, 50,000 times 0.38, that would give you 19,000 people. So basically, anywhere within that range for number of people would be a plausible value. And that matches with what we see here in answer choice C. And that's it for number 7. Stay tuned, and we'll get into question 8 next. Thanks for watching.